Okay, so I would like to call the annual general meeting of the Lakeside Boys Soccer Supporters Society in session. Thank you everyone for attending in person and anyone who might be listening on our Discord server. Um, uh, I believe our secretary treasurer will be monitoring the Discord chat in case someone has anything that they want to be done. There are a few sheets here with the agenda on it. Um, Informally, I'd like to just ask right now if there's anything that anybody wants to be discussed, whether in new business or existing business right away, so I can add it to the agenda before we get going. Going once, going twice. I'll give a little bit of time for a Discord comment, but really moving forward. All right. Um, for those who don't know me, who is probably no one, my name is Michael Geldrich. I am the president of the Lakeside Boys Soccer Supporters Society. And based on the fact that there were close to 0 nominations, it seems highly likely that I will be the president moving forward, but we'll get to that further down the list.
Don't go to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Don't go to the bathroom because that is the age-old way to get elected president. Um, uh, we do have the standard sort of, it's not Robert's Rules of Order, but the standard sort of rules of order and trying to run things. Ted usually will be the one to make sure that we stick to that. The person who is actually the worst of that is normally our ombudsperson, who is not here right now anyway, so we'll figure it out. If I step out of that said order or any sort of protocol,
Ted's gonna yell at you.
it will just kindly let me know and we will readjust. Or if there's anything, if anyone has any qualms, we can handle it politely like adults, knowing that there should be no animosity here.
You will hear this sound.
Yeah. The vice president of the Supporter Society is Kevin Close right there. And our secretary treasurer is Anthony right there. And there are other members at large in present. Annual review. So, we did have a.
Stop it.
Yeah, please turn that down. It was not necessarily the best year for sporting performance. You're killing me here, Kevin.
I know.
And
I'm trying to get rid of it.
but I think we all know that counting on a soccer team for your emotional stability is a fool's errand.
Is that
What's wrong, like,
Kevin?
either have multiple clubs or multiple sports or have a few other things, seek therapy, do whatever you got to do. But it can be a good time. There can be a lot of good times out of there. Shared triumphs are heightened and shared losses are lessened, which is the point of us having a group, because it feels a lot better when you're not the only one looking around being like, did everyone else see that? So this is the first of many pleads for people to please join the Lakeside. If you are not, and you're just kind of listening online, if you're not a paid member, yeah. Pay your membership dues. They are $10 annually, which gets you
VIP access.
well, $10 doesn't even buy you a meal these days. So it's not really a big deal. It's kind of exactly a token membership fee, but it does. The biggest thing for us is about having our membership numbers higher, right? The more members we.
Video.
Yeah.
I can't get the speaker to turn on. We'll press it here.
The youth will figure it out.
It's covered.
Let the youth figure it out.
One of the things that works best for us is having a stronger membership number base, right? Like the bigger our base is, the more that we can
Click on the person's
enact change, demand things, or at least have our voice listened to. Luckily, we have a very good relationship with the front office of Pacific FC. They truly give a shit at what we say. I have regular meetings, and they also are quite clear about wanting to hear from other people as well. It doesn't just have to be through me. It can be anyone. And one of the pleas that had come from the front office is a reminder, if anyone is doing anything on social media or what have you, that um, we all know everybody's name, generally speaking, or people are approachable. So if you've got a complaint to be made towards the club, um, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be nameless. You can just call them and be like, "Hey Simon, I'm pissed," and he will hear you, rather than "Damn those faceless bastards in the front office," because he's like, "I'm right here, man." It doesn't have to be that way. And in fact, that, I think in a lot of ways, that it might seem bush league in some ways, but that's an absolute strength for us, is that we have the ear of we're not just the hooligans over there that they tolerate. They give a hell of a lot more weight to what we have to say than they do the average person who attends, because of what we deliver on a game after game basis. So I want everyone to kind of keep that in mind with any of the off-field ownership shenanigans. I'm the first guy to start a fuck the owners chant from time to time, but there's one owner in particular that I've got gripes against, but it's been built across the last 8 years, with almost every interaction being like, "That was unnecessarily awkward," and like, "Maybe read the room, sir." Um, yeah, most of them, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that, but accurate. The reality is that we don't know what is going to happen with the club past the 2026 season. They will, of course, be playing throughout 2026. They are actively trying to sell the club. Um, in my thoughts, prayers, hopes, and dreams, I'm hoping that someone steps forward to buy the club and start an NSL team. I think that would be the best way forward. I'm not going to speak to the venue on where they play, because there's a lot of pros and cons one way or the other. But the reality of it is that, uh, and they know that I would love some level of community ownership, whether it ends up being even on a token level or not. And they've actually given a lot of weight to that, because of the just the nature of Vancouver Island and who Vancouver Islanders tend to be as people, right? Um, we we awesome, and you know there are small towns everywhere where you end up always having to look at the giant city just over there somewhere, and live vicariously off of them. And this is one of the few things that we have that is ours, and um, retaining that feeling is important. And I think that's one of the most important parts about Pacific FC, is that it is the island's only professional sports team. It is ours, and there is a centuries old soccer tradition, societies, families on Vancouver Island, right? We went to the Bays United Lake Hill game last night in Div 1. Bays United are from the 1800s. They're a soccer association that is older than most of the clubs playing in the Premier League. Lake Hill is somehow still considered one of the newer guys, and they were founded in 1956. So things to keep in mind there, that there is a rich tradition and history of soccer on Vancouver Island, and if we can find the way to kind of unite said bickering factions to all kind of rally behind something, I think that we'll get a lot more out of this than um, uh, the status quo of everyone having their own little fiefdoms, and maybe Pacific folding because, well, why wasn't Lake Hill involved in like, why aren't you looking to our academy, and any of that kind of nonsense, right? So I think we can kind of get past that, and I welcome everyone to be able to have those conversations if they want, if it's presented. With our membership base, I'll leave the actual numbers and stats to our stats wizard, as far as whether there has been growth and where that's looking. But it feels like there has been growth. I don't think anyone has walked away from membership, and there have been more people wanting to join. We've been trying to use the Chant app more as means, but the game day recruiting on there seems to have glitches in a way that, like, when it came down to it, it was mostly just, okay, well, give me your phone number or email and we'll figure this on the back end and get back to you and work this out just to get it done. You get, e-transfer us the $10 and you're in. That's really the deal. Or come by the tailgate. In fact, frankly, for many of the things, do you want to be here? Cool, you're in. Like, it's just that simple. There's no question there. And not really any obligation to participate. One of the things personally that comes up often for me, not necessarily as the role of president, is that on any given game day, like I make myself apparent and visible, and there sometimes is a sense that that's what the role is, and that's not necessarily true. The role of president is really just to do this right now: hold meetings, make sure that our papers are filled, and the society functions as it needs to by law in order for us to keep a bank account and blah blah blah. The So should anyone ever feel like that is a role that they are willing to do, it doesn't have to be like, oh, well, you need to like spike your hair up and grow it and dye it purple and like dance around like an idiot and wear makeup and all the things that I do. No, that's just me. So don't feel like that's part of the thing and that it's really, yeah, exactly. Starfish tattoo and any of those other things, right? It goes a long way just by showing up, and I would argue that probably the most important thing that we can do as members of this group is literally showing up on game day. And I would second that with the hope is that you would want to be in our section. That's the aim. I would love that, but everyone has their own things and comfort levels and noise levels and various things that, or whether they're bringing guests and whether they can handle that or not. On the surface, step one, having our membership level number be high is great. I would love if all those people sit with us. If they don't, that's okay, but it would be best if, you know what I mean? And for anyone who's listening to this who doesn't spend all their time in Section 119, we are actually friendly and very welcoming and open to anything that people have, right? Like if you are thinking up songs in your head, you've got this penchant to be a Weird Al type character who wants to rewrite songs, by all means. There's so many things that we do that whether it's the painting of tifos, designing them, creating flags, doing the tailgates, writing songs, singing songs, playing drums. I mean, I've said it off the record several times. Musicians, wanted, skilled or otherwise, preferably skilled, but you do what you can. And I think we've also proven several times over that like we are not above handing the drumsticks to a kid who wants to bang on a drum. Like it's really just about having a fun day out, right? Because once again, if the team is not performing to a standard that we want, it becomes even more imperative on us to create the fun atmosphere so that people walk away still having had a good time, right? And sometimes that can be by berating things, but more often than not, it's literally just about being silly. And everyone deserves a chance to shake their sillies out, adults included. Kids know this inherently. Adults forget this. It's important. Shake your sillies out. Join the lakeside.
It's the only reason I'm here.
Yeah. That's sort of an annual review, but more of a state of society. The rest of the annual review, we only did one large-scale TIFO this year, and it was the Pride game. Stuart the Starfish in wearing a rainbow scarf and wearing some fishnets, which thanks to Anthony for modifying the SpongeBob design, and we have that. I would still like to do more rigging TIFO. We have all the equipment to do it. The the one holdout for us to be able to do that is just making sure that we actually have people who are willing to do it, and we can go through the training beforehand, so it's not just a game day thing, and we just show up, show everyone how it works, so that it's not seat of our pants in that moment, because it can be dangerous if people don't know what they're doing. And I would still want to do that on the far end of the field from us, because even now there's even less people over there. It can be complicated when you're trying to hoist thing over people's heads when those people aren't wearing hard hats, and so it makes me feel a lot safer and better about it if we're not doing that above 300 some odd people, and then everyone gets to see it instead of
What's happening behind me?
What's
Yeah.
happening?
right.
Big
The
piece of purple fabric hanging.
Yeah, and well, and it's really interesting when you start doing the large scale TIFO things. Like, for example, the 50-foot scarf that we break out whenever it tends to not be a league game. Whether it, well, we did break it out at Royal Athletic, it's a special event scarf. The most important takeaway that we've had every time that we break that scarf out is that if you ask people if they want to participate, more people will say, "Oh, no, 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 thank you, I don't want to." If you thrust it upon them, everybody wants to be involved. They want to hold it up. They want to be doing the thing. They just, or this is happening. Then they're like, "Oh, okay," and they get it.
I was underneath the scarf.
Yeah.
I was underneath
Yeah,
the
and they get involved and they're happy, and they're like, then they look at the pictures and they're like, "Hey, that was me. I did that." As opposed to, it's a lot harder to be like, "Okay, so we're gonna meet Friday night at 9, and we're gonna paint this deep into the night, and then we're gonna come back at 4 in the morning and fold it up," and then we're like, less people are interested in that end of the thing, and that takes time. I think there's only been one TIFO painting session ever that I wasn't involved in, regardless of who was doing it. It was the Sean Young one, but um, uh, the last several years it's happened at my workplace, where we have, my boss has been very helpful in letting us have the room and moving trucks around for us to be able to like project the stuff up onto and so on. And for years we were kind of known as like the TIFO team in the league. And I would like to keep that going. So if anyone has any design ideas and or thoughts, we of course welcome that. The best way, like obviously we're on all the socials, but the best way to get involved with anything that we do is on Discord. So even if it's not necessarily your bag or seems intimidating based on the number of channels and all the people talking and who are all these people and so on, start out slow and shy, and eventually you get to meet everybody and it will work out, I promise. Right? But again, you don't have to do those things. The most important thing is showing up to the game, and if you're doing that anyways, just join us. Am I missing anything that happened this year of like supreme relevance that that I didn't talk about?
I don't recall anything else. So
we were talking off the record before about TOP, because for the history of Pacific FC, they had been a pretty integral part of the supporter section, and they were fairly non-existent this year. And fairly is a generous use of that word. They showed up to one game, maybe you get the odd member or two. I'm always welcome to them coming by, but the reminder for this is everyone has their own lives and are at different stages of their lives. And sometimes when you're starting a new family, what you wanted to do when, like, the year before your kid was born or in the first year after your kid was born stops being the thing that you do when your kid is 4 or 5, right? And then, like, all of a sudden we might see all those guys when their kids are 10. Who knows? It doesn't help that they also had some
encounters.
well, I'm going to come right out and say it, some racial profiling by the security head, not in the 2025 season, but in the 2024 season and earlier. But we also helped them deal with that and get it called out, and that made that person be dismissed. So the club, yeah, though that's actually some of the most important kind of stuff that we do is making sure that fan rights are being upheld and that people get to come and enjoy this and they don't have to put up with bullshit like that. And for those unfamiliar with the story, they called that person out for drinking in the parking lot out of a cup that I poured beer in for them and gave them, and they had no problem with us doing it, but they saw them doing it on their own and called them out about it. And so that's again where I was like, we're doing it. So once the hypocrisy was called out, they were like, okay, well, we got to do something about this. And it was pretty obvious, and so it got solved. So also keep that in mind. Shake your sillies out, step one, but step two, stand up for the people who are standing beside you, right? That's the point. I like to think, and it's probably because I am quite left-leaning, but we seem a very left-leaning sort of, equality over individuality kind of group, and I like that. We're open to debate, but we are proudly anti-fascist. I'm just gonna also put that out there right the fuck
No,
now.
Why am I here?
Yeah. How dare you?
Now that you finally made it clear.
Yeah. If there was any confusion,
Purple tail, purple tail, purple tail, tail, tail.
exactly. Like I've been practicing Bella Ciao on my saxophone. So, yeah. So again, musicians welcome, skilled or otherwise. So on that, I don't know if there's anything else that like I needed to.
Tim brought up the point about away days for
Yes.
annual year.
Thank you, Tim. So, as Scott and Tammy can attest to, one of the most important supporter group building things you can do is attend away games. Because if you go to an away game, all of a sudden it kind of breaks the ice of the perceived cliques that are there, right? People I'm willing to bet that this is actually a common thing for the a couple thousand people that come to PFC games regularly, is that they might want to be involved. They just don't know, can they or will they or how will they be received? And you can see this happen with other people. Like I've seen a lot of comments come back from some supporter groups in NSL that like maybe they're not as welcome as they could be, and there's again a perceived resistance there where people are like, well, this is how we do it, and we're not necessarily like that. Yeah, we have our routines, we have our plans, but we're open to talking about things. It might not be the most productive time to talk about it during the 90 minutes, but having said that, if anyone comes forward and wants to has some good proactive ideas on how to make things more fun, but we're all ears, right? That's the point. And if you've not been to an away game, our easiest away game trips are going over to Langley, and we were talking about this last night as well, that we will always give the club the first chance to put words out there to say, okay, see how much interest there is. Can we fill a charter bus or not? Right. And if we can, great. If we can't, we're going anyways, and we'll find ways to carpool and do that because it's a fun time out. What we've determined is that the math, even if you fill the charter bus, is still probably cheaper if we just individually fill cars. Hey, Steve. And the beauty of us filling cars and going over that way is that it's less of a situation where you feel like you've been trucked in, watched the game, and immediately trucked back out, right? There's been a couple away games where to Langley that go like that, where you're like, okay, well, I've already written off my whole day here, but we've had no time for fun. It's on the ferry, on the bus, game starts immediately, game ends, back on the bus, right back to the ferry, and if there's a loss, then that day gets even longer. You're just like, oh my God, did we have any fun time in that? And so we had inquired about, hey, well, what about getting the bus earlier? And the club totally understood. They're like, yeah, if you're going to catch the 11 o'clock ferry, catching the 9 o'clock ferry doesn't really wreck your day any, right? Like you're already doing it. And then you have 2 extra hours to go do things, whether it's go to the brew pub down the street or anything else.
I have to go get it from. Yeah.
It's
And-
part of the tradition now.
Yeah.
But it also makes the day more fun, right? You actually have some time put aside to breathe and have fun, and doesn't feel like you're like a performance artist, right? Being trucked in and out. So I will wholeheartedly recommend, if you've not been on an away day, go on an away day. And this coming year, obviously the schedule's not out yet. There's been a lot of talk about wanting to get out to see Supra in Laval. And if the schedule coincides that it's an away trip where they play Supra 1 week and then the next week or halfway through the week they end up playing in Ottawa or
Even
Toronto, Hamilton for that matter, like all of a sudden you're like, hey, then it's now it's a trip, right? And it's definitely much more worthwhile. Going on those away trips. Kudos to everyone who went out to Winnipeg. I don't think that at the time everyone thought that it was like, well, this is going to be our last chance, but like, good on you if you did. Also good on to everyone who made it out to Edmonton a few years ago for a similar thing. But like, with respect to the 2 away trips to Langley, we are doing that every year, regardless. So when the schedule comes out, put those days on your calendar and book them off, figure it out. One thing I guess I can put into the annual review that was somewhat surprising, but kind of a, calling an audible in the middle of the game, was realizing when we were at Royal Athletic Park how many people were in our section and having a good time who'd never been to a soccer game before. And then when we told them, hey, this is literally what we do all the time out at Starlight, they're like, yeah, but getting out to Starlight. And so I started thinking about it being like first of all, like that builds a rage in me that I find hard to deal with. But secondarily,
14 kilometers
I-
is really far.
I'm wanting to put it out there, and I'm open to this being a discussion point, but my sense is that anyone who says that, tell them to join the Lakeside Boys. Pay your $10, and we will find a way to get you out to games.
Also,
Like,
they
if-
should talk to Tammy, who comes from Parksville.
Well, yeah,
and us who come
or the
from-
Merrimans who come down from Cedar, and like there are people who come to every game and come for Steve coming from Dean Park. Yeah, there's like people come. So but rather than the stick and shame approach, being like, if that's because we don't know, like especially if someone's not coming out to games, we don't know what their situation is and why that might be a problem for them. If that's a problem for them, join our society, and we will find the way. I will make it a personal mission to find a way to get you out to Starlight, because if that's the only problem is that you can't get out there, that's actually an easy problem. I can't do that for 2,000 people, but if 2,000 people join the Lakeside Boys because of this promise, well, then I'll deal with it.
Yeah,
We have the Victoria BC Transit planner on our board, so we can have that conversation with him.
Let's get
Right.
a game day bicycle caravan.
We've talked about it. We looked in, honestly, Nate, we looked into renting a pump car because the rail line is across the street.
I know I didn't put anything on the thing, but okay.
Go ahead.
Later when I have something I can talk about. So I'm really good buddies with the guy that does Checkerhead Brewing in Shirley. If anybody knows Checkerhead, it's a little tiny brewery out of a garage. Dave's a professional juggler that also owns a nano brewery. But me and him I have a cargo bike, a box bike, and I'm putting a jockey box on it with the capacity for 3 kegs.
Nice.
So I don't know if we can make that legal, but if we
We've
can figure it out, it would be amazing.
we've looked into it.
Yeah.
For those that
So
don't,
I can pedal my bike from downtown back to the stadium with kegs.
we've looked into it. For those that don't know, we are members of the North American branch of the Independent Supporters Council, and their advice for us with tailgates was just go to breweries and they will donate kegs. And I had to talk to Bailey, who's the president, being like, I don't think you understand, right? Like it's not like that. Like if I tap a keg, like the biggest problem that they have with anything that we do is that maybe, just maybe, some of us might smuggle alcohol into the that's it. Like they don't let off all the smoke bombs, do all the fucking crazy stuff you want. Oh my god, did you smuggle in booze? Oh, like criminal offense. So again, exactly, which is the thing about like having cake. You know, I bring growlers to the thing, but as you know, aforementioned, it caused an issue with, you know, the TOP people. So the reality of it is that we'll get back to you on bringing kegs to tailgates, but in my opinion, the number one problem that PFC has at being in Starlight is the transportation factor. And to me, that seems like such a solvable problem, even though, and it's a psychological barrier. Like,
only there was like an express bus that was in walking distance.
Well, exactly. They're,
10 takes every day. Nice.
yeah, they're,
Right?
yeah. I mean, we could have a separate meeting, right? The reality of it is, though, that should anyone give you said guff about getting out there as a problem, my recommendation is to tell them to join our society, and we will help them solve said problem.
Yeah, people will like totally carpool. Like,
Yeah, we will find a way.
I'll pick up a rando.
Yeah,
who needs a ride
We can do
somewhere.
that. Yeah, exactly. Like enough people have class 4 licenses. Like even if we have to rent a, like find our
Party
own
bus.
little like airport or charter bus and go grab people and turn it into our own booze cruise out there. Like there are solutions. There are solutions. But thanks, Tim, for bringing up the away thing and following in with the transportation thing. That's the only thing I really wanted to get in there before I hand the microphone over to our treasurer for the financial statement. Anthony?
Right.
Was there a question and answer?
Oh, you can just
section?
pass
Oh.
the microphone.
Oh, sorry. Did anyone have questions about the things that I said? Ted?
Oh,
I got a whole list, and at this
Oh,
point, I
yes.
may just have to join the board because there's too many questions.
Oh,
Yes, you're
Sounded like
nominated.
a
I'm
nomination.
nominating.
Yeah, yeah.
You're nominated for
The
president.
main question I had was, we talked about TIFO, and I didn't hear if there was any update, or even possibility of an update, on actually getting TIFO hoisting system yet. I know we were not anywhere near it 2 years ago, and still not near it last
Like
year.
for our section or
For
back?
our section, no, for our section.
Yes.
Mounting something
So-
so that we could raise something.
There had been talk about that with Paul Byrne. I have not had any conversations with Ross. In fact, it's kind of been like, given all the things that had happened with 6.5, it like even that we had meetings set up, that the literal day that we had a meeting was the day that the mayor of Langford came out with his comments in response to Josh Simpson. So I canceled the meeting I was like, you have more important things phone calls to have right now than my bullshit. So you deal with this and we'll meet up and talk another day. So I'm looking forward to, I've had conversations with Simon and Josh Hurd actually about quite a few things in the meantime. And I'm just knowing the way that things roll at the front office. It's kind of like, you know, gather all of our things and then roll into January and February when they're like refreshed post winterlude, and then say, okay, here's where we're at, what can we do moving forward, and so on. But coming back to my thing with rigging, even if we have that, it starts opening up a whole other level. Like their biggest concern. So what happened, for those that don't know, with the rigging TIFO, the last time that we did one was the eagle being pulled down by octopus tentacles. And we had designed that for the first day of the 2024 season, and they knew that we were going to do this. And then they immediately, even though they, I guess, didn't think about it, they put the bleachers right up against the stuff, and we're like, man, we've been working all winter to have this thing. Like, what the hell? And 2 or 3 of us had that conversation the day before, and the qualms with it, and going into the 2025 season, they were like, you can do rigging tifos. We would like a month's heads up if you're going to do it before the game day. And the reason is because anytime that they move those bleachers, it costs them money. And it's just the nature of all the different parties at stake and what's happening. So they're not willing to do last minute changes like that because they're just hemorrhaging money at that point. But if we give them enough heads up, they can easily make that happen. And again, if we have that on the bowling alley side where there's already infrastructure to do it, there's less possibility of injuring anyone or liability of breaking anything. Langford thought that we broke something just because the net wasn't able to be raised up at the end of a game. And it happened that way just because someone untied a knot and the thing went up and it had to get our company bucket truck to pull it back down because it was a gravity thing. I'm like, well, it's 60 feet up. We don't have a 60-foot pole to reach that. It's not broken, but I gotta get back up there and fix it. In the meantime, between Saturday at 10 p.m. and Monday afternoon when I was able to show up with the bucket truck after work, the rumor mill had spread and the game of telephone made it so that Langford City Hall thought that somehow we had destroyed all their equipment. And it was like, it was not the case at all. And so it took a whole year for me to explain the thing back to be able for them to understand, no, it's fine. They raise it. Everything's all good now. And they're like, oh yeah, I guess it is. And you're like, yeah, what was I going to do at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night? Right. And at the time, no one seemed to care. It was only when the people who knew nothing about what had actually happened started spreading rumors that it got out of hand. So we are back to a place of, sure, we can do that, but they would want a month's heads up. And for my own personal comfort, for being the guy with the gear and orchestrating the logistics of how it's going to go down, I would want to have a training session so that anyone who's going to be involved with any of the hoisting or anything, like we can walk everyone through the entire process. This is how it works. This is what we're doing. Like, not just what your role will be, but like how the whole thing gets assembled and how we're doing it. And while we're doing it, like, right. Well, right now we still have that eagle being pulled down by stuff, zap strapped onto that netting, right? Like, we've never had a party to come and disassemble that. And so in a lot of ways, it makes sense to keep that on there until we have a said training session, because again, I'm not wanting for us to do that kind of 60-foot TIFO, right? If we don't have enough people feeling confident about how the whole thing works, because there's already a certain, well, not even a certain, there's a large part of should I be sick on game day? You know, everything lives in my van, and you know, you're like everything, right? Like, I've never missed a home game, and we're lucky that way. But I've put it out to the board earlier in the year, being like, someday that van is going to die, and we need a contingency plan here. So if anyone has access to a 10-foot or larger shipping container, let us know. And yeah, we might be able. Yeah, exactly. If the rebels can do it, we can find a way to be able to leave it on the grounds. There are ways that we could do this, as well as we could fundraise for that. Again,
Very expensive.
Cheaper than buying another van, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't have to roll with this, right?
So basically, the answer to my question was, there's no update. We haven't talked to them about it, and we'll see about next year. Thank you. Moving on.
And I'm not comfortable with us doing that because of the way that Langford had reacted with that thing. I would much rather do it at the other side.
And that way more people can see it as well.
Yeah.
I'm only talking about our side.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
Fair enough. Fair.
I just wanted to make sure that, like, why I have concerns with that. Any other question that came up for what I had to say?
No, I'll save it for the board meetings.
Okay.
Save it.
All right. Financial statement, Anthony.
Show me the money.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
We're rich.
Yeah. One sec. Pulling up the fund. So start this year we had $1,158.86, approximately, with exchange rates in USD, because we have some USD still. just sitting in our float because right not
And PayPal.
yeah. And right now we spent about $2,000 on our scarves, which not the best investment looking back on it, but yeah. But thankfully, by a gracious $1,000 donation from Scott and Tammy, that really helped fund those and all that, and actually put us in the positive for this year with a running total of here one, 1453 and some odd cents because
We're up from when we started.
yeah,
Woo!
yeah,
And we have stock.
and then
Oh,
yeah, yeah, and then not sure any
member numbers?
member numbers. So those are up slightly from last year, still hovering around that 40 to 50 mark. Yeah.
Were tailgates like? Did we actually make any money at any tailgates this year?
That's the only way we made money this year.
Yeah, it's gonna say
It
donations
Was, it was our money.
Because you guys donated, we just donated. We didn't even ask for money back.
Yeah.
We just were
if
like,
you next year we're gonna
We
work on
donated
making sure
fun.
you get
Donated
money back for resources because we want to be,
When financial times harden, I will let you know.
but
I think I received.
at least let us fund half of them, Tam.
Yeah.
That's all.
we're just.
We want to
happy-
give you money back for those.
I'm like happy to do it. I just want to know that like everybody.
Yeah, but
It's
we'll
fair,
also
right?
be keeping
That's
better.
why I said
I can-
donations need to be changed. The bucket needs to be changed to tips because
Yeah.
you and I are the entertainment hosting.
Yeah.
And-
Now we are.
and I can also speak to the fact that we did buy a Square
Yeah.
unit, which allows us to immediately get transactions on site.
Because it's the very first time, the first game of the season where poor Tony was having to spell out for an e-transfer.
Yeah,
Like the whole I was like, oh my god, kill me now. Go to
Yes.
Square. I volunteer. Like that's
yeah.
like right now, board meeting. Like this is not happening.
And we've made our money back with that Square machine.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think we're right at the even point with it right now. So
Perfect. It's free
and
cake.
I think also like if you add like I know my phone has the ability like if I was to get added to the Square account, people
Yeah.
would just tap on my phone.
yeah, I've done that a couple times.
Okay.
But figured the machine so people could insert too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was $80, I think.
That's just a trigger thing.
That's awesome.
But
Yeah.
but most of the stuff is set up with the Square app now, where all of our items are listed. We've also had some funds come in by merch that was donated to us.
Yeah.
The knitted octopuses and so on.
Yeah.
Which has also helped out. And people loved it. I'm gonna touch base with Karen and see if she's
Yeah.
interested in.
See if we
making
can pay for some.
one. Yeah, exactly.
But that'll come up later with Leela and
The merch committee.
yeah. Any other thing I need to? Any questions or? It says private function on the door.
It does.
Yeah. I think that's. I think
Motion
that's
to
it.
accept
Unless
the-
anyone, can I get a motion to approve and the financials?
Yeah,
Second.
Yeah, I got
All
people.
in favor?
Yeah. Okay, works for me.
Well
Okay.
done. Well done.
Cheers. Thank you, Tony.
Not the best, but first time doing it. So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. I would like to be
We just need numbers. We're
yeah.
Yeah.
Chips has been really good on keeping on top of the minutes and making sure all of these things are moving forward. He's also been our main sticker designer. So there are a whole world of stickers over there. Please help yourself to any of them.
By donation.
Yeah,
Well,
there most certainly is every sort of Vancouver Island sporting club has
redesigned
their
that Pacific.
logo has been redesigned to be
Ah.
Pacific based.
Yeah.
So, and my van is a rolling art gallery of said stickers. Um,
Only Tim.
next on the thing.
To miss you. Wish you were here.
Next on the agenda is statements from committee chairs. So I'll handle the committees that don't necessarily have chairs or aren't here.
Most of them.
most of them. Jake Burnley is the away day committee chair, and are like quite literally the regional transit planner. So he's feeling stressed right now. I denied his request to resign from the board moving forward. So
I second that decline.
yeah, he knows. He knows that I was like, yeah, you weren't brave enough to type it, so I'm going to deny it verbally. And welcome back. So we will also the reality about the board meetings is that if anyone is going to be on the board, it's just about trying to find a day that works with enough people so that we can have quorum, right? I want to make it before we get to the point of electing or nominating anyone to be on the board that it's not mandatory that you make meetings. People have lives. The world is changing. There's a lot of stuff in flux. So the most important thing is that we have quorum, that we can have said meetings, which I believe is 50% of the members. Our constitution is available on our website for anyone who wants to read it. And we do file our things regularly, and we've gotten our notice from them saying, hey, like
we need to file.
we need to file. But they know our AGM is happening right now as well, and we've been really good about that. And it helps us keep a bank account, which has also been fantastic, to not have to use PayPal as our means of holding money. It's not just that, baby wipe case covered in stickers. We have a legit bank account.
I'm gonna upgrade that.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
And it's been good. So the visuals committee, there are stickers. Grab stickers. Graffiti by sticker is like, I have no qualms with that. Like, anyone does, paint scrapers are cheap. Get that shit fucking everywhere, right?
Especially in Langley.
Yeah, especially in Langley.
I
Or
deserve an award for my stickering in their section, just saying.
as well as flag designs or TIFO designs. If you have anything that you want to do there, this is that perfect time of year to like put anything in there, because we have ample time to get anything made before the new season rolls out. A large amount of, like, all of our rail banners are like original season, and they're on canvas, so they're sturdy, but it's always good to have some new artwork.
Yeah.
Some of our flags have are not repairable anymore. They've just seen the end of it. The people at the flag shop have told me that they are willing to do repairs to the 10 by 10 flag, but some of those, I'm like, you can't fix this, man. It's been on fire. But they've been really helpful, and they've been happy to supply us with all the country flags that we do. And the country flag thing has been well received by everyone. So for those that don't know, on the south side of the West Stand, I've put up international flags for the country as chosen by the players, not necessarily the country of their birth or whatever. I go to them and be like, what flag do you want to represent you? So for example, Ali and Dom was, okay, France. And then I handed the DRC flag to Georges Mokambilwa, and Ali was like, what the fuck? Okay, no, fuck that. Senegal. I'm like, all right, yeah, no problem. Senegal, right? And once that was understood, then everyone was like, this is happy. There's Luca Browning was like, Ireland and Sweden. And I was like, all right, man, like, this one time, but like, ideally, pick a flag. It's Canada, dude. We can all like grab 12 flags. It doesn't really work that way. Like, pick a fucking country. So between the and there's a St. Andrew's purple flag for you, Steve, anytime you want it. The reality is that we do have those flags. We've got enough flags now to have our own little mini UN, and who knows who signs with us next year, so we might have to get new ones. I doubt that Romanian flag will see much more. Same with the Lebanese flag. We're probably not going to use that one too much. But the Filipino flag gets a lot of love.
Love Baldy.
Well, Baldy, Aiden Daniels, Caden Chung, but also Aiden Daniels represented by the South Africa flag. So like well received and loved by many people, and we're gonna just keep doing that. Only one person complained that they were like, "Oh, I can't see it," and I challenged the club to be like, "Where?" Right? Because I walked that line, being like, "There is no part of the pitch you can't see," right?
Yeah.
And there was like one spot. I was like, when the wind was blowing the flag in their face, they couldn't quite see the corner, and you're right there. And I was like, "Yeah, but you could do this," and it was fine. So the club heard what I had to say on that. They're like, "No, we like what you're doing, and it's more important than that one person. We will find them somewhere else to move to if that's
Give him an upgrade.
exactly."
Once he goes.
But on all the other sort of flags that we have, right? Like we've got like so many designs of flags, and I would really like to not only do more tifo going forward, but it seems also well received when we hand out flags before kickoff to give everyone when they play Purple Haze and have people waving flags and so on. And most of the time you can tell people, okay, well, don't hit anyone with it, and try not to wave it during gameplay unless you're in section 119, and then go nuts. We'll see what we can do at the sidelines, because I missed this in the annual review, there had been some snafus with Paladin security on where people can stand along the board lines and so on, and some of that stuff is fucking insane.
Yeah. People here would never associate with that.
Yeah, you're like, well, you can't stand behind the net. I was like, that's probably the safest place to stand.
I heard back that they like PFC told me that the reason that was because they get in the base standing behind the net. I'm like,
Why did
explain how that happened.
Well,
Explain how a baby can be
yeah.
off to the
And-
side.
And again,
where
I
it's
mean,
danger, but
I
not
don't want to be like old man yelling at clouds, but I remember my first hockey game where I was told a puck could randomly come up and hit you in the face. So just be prepared that at a moment's notice, my dad might grab me and crush my head down to make sure I don't. Like, it's a sporting event. You're gonna hear some swears, and you might get hit by something. So heads up, pay attention.
I don't know how that happened behind the net, though. That was my
Yeah, and again, they started being like, okay, yeah. But more importantly, and when I put this out there, it kind of restructured it on the like, so you have no problem with kids running fucking amok, not paying attention to the game in that area. But the second that they're actually paying attention to the game and looking at the field, you don't want that. Am I getting this correctly? And then that gave them pause, and they thought about it a little bit more. And they're like, and it was like, you can't do this as well without signage. So then they made signage. I was like, all right, it makes it a little easier to defend this now that you at least have signs telling people they can't stand here. Because when you're just randomly coming up and telling them no, and also don't make the kids not have a good time. The most important thing is that the kids have a good time.
Push all the kids to the most dangerous area.
Yeah.
Right next to the goal.
Yeah, they want.
Most of the shots.
If parents are buying tickets for their kids to attend the game, it's most important that the kids have a good time. If they are not having a good time, the parents are not coming back with their kids.
Because they spend
Right?
a lot of money on food.
Well, all of that stuff. If the kids have a great time, then the parents are like, "Fuck, that was easy and cheaper than a movie theater. So let's do that again."
And they
Right?
run around.
At least we've evolved. I'm pretty sure it was the very first year of Starlight being a venue for the Highlanders.
Right.
When they started in PDL. And they were making announcements at the beginning and at the halftime of every game saying, please be aware that balls may leave the field of play
I hope so.
and you may be hit. At least we're not doing that.
Well, and but also, and this was I gave them crap for this, that I was like, they would do the like, homophobia will not be taught. They would do all that stuff literally at gate open, where you're like, there's no one here. They're like, I'm like, okay, legal obligation check, and you're like, how about like 15 minutes before kickoff, right? Like when people might actually hear this. So on that, those things change because we get involved. Again, our importance is a little bit more than just randomly showing up being, drunken hooligans.
I mean, it helps when you tell security guards that that's not a rule. That's not a rule.
It's true. It's true. And when you get to know the security guard's first name, it kind of throws them off a little bit, and it gives you a little bit more leeway to have a conversation with them when you're like,
wanted to hug it out. You wouldn't hug.
yeah. But when you're like, oh, hey Malik, and then they're like, oh shit, now you know my name. Okay, I guess I gotta, like it really but it also brings it back. To be fair, there are a lot of people who step into that role who've never been to a soccer game before, and at any other event,
And they
the
take your
things that
number.
we do would not be tolerated.
Yeah.
Yet it is encouraged at soccer, which thank God, but it's also the primer. And so this has come up a lot, especially with the bowling alley side gate. Shimoya, for example, would get like nonstop shit for bringing in her horn in a way where I'm like, I don't even understand why we're still having this conversation. And I bring it up to the Simon. He's like, I don't know what more I can do here, right? I'm like, we tell them every game. You're like, no, bring it in. Like, and they don't know. The new people don't get the training or this and that. So it's come up enough times that they're like, it's not on you guys. And like, Mike, if I have to hear you say this another, I'm like, we'll start hiring another fucking firm because this is getting fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, don't make me do this. I don't want to do it. The only thing that I didn't do in 2025 that I had done in years past, and it was kind of a holdout for the woman getting fired, is that I would usually start the season by going over and introducing myself to all the security and have my like, usually that's when they're like, well, swearing won't be tolerated. I'm like, that's just how we fucking talk. And so there's an understanding
And then it's
that,
on the ground.
well, and no, but there's an understanding that I'm like, there's a big difference. Like, first of all, it's a sporting event. That's how we all learned our swear words. Second of all, if you can't determine the difference between like random swear words and like
Aggression.
serious violent intent aggression, right, then maybe security is not the avenue for you, right? There needs to be a leeway there of understanding, and the primary thing for us is de-escalation and self-policing. I just didn't have that conversation with Paladin in 2025 because I'm like, I got your boss fired last year, so I'm just gonna not start the season off having the conversation.
Probably should have leaned in on that.
Which again, like in hindsight, I probably should have, right? I probably should have gone over and been like,
We're not putting up with this
yeah,
shit.
we're not gonna put up with this shit.
You don't have to tell them we did. We
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, it came
That's
up.
actually not true.
Yeah,
That's not a real role.
Responsibility of the vice president there on that
Yeah, exactly. Well,
one.
Point out the headlines.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably our like most notorious instigator with security. So,
Yeah.
Never.
Okay. Additionally, more committee chairs. So Sonics, it's been since Andrew left, we haven't had one full-time capo. That's been a shared role. In a lot of ways, that's been good because it opens up the possibility of like a lot of different flavors and what people can do. But it left the shadow of Andrew with people feeling this responsibility that somehow that's what they have to do. And so that reminder that Andrew was an improv trained actor. This is a thing that he liked to do. He like knows how to do that without losing his voice. He would show up, put 90 minutes of not watching the game and doing this. That was a part of his passion towards that. That's not necessarily the role, right? The role really is just about us having a songbook and keeping there from being dead air and going on. Like the sound continuing, right? All of our songs that we have are in the Chant app. We can print and have often in the past printed out handouts. The bummer with doing that sometimes is that you just end up cleaning up a bunch of wet paper from the stands afterwards. I'm not opposed to doing that. I just don't want people showing up with phone books of paperwork that just ends up going and being wasted, right? We literally have it all, and it's not like an Instagram thing. I will do live notifications of this is the song we're singing every time.
I'm not at the game though, so get the notifications on my watch. Ding, we're singing
Exactly.
this. Ding,
We're singing this. So if you don't have the Chant app or don't know how to use it, find me when I'm not giving speeches, and I can walk you through how to do any of those sort of things. If you find yourself to be an lyricist and you want to write songs or anything like that, do it. We can get them on there. It's deadly simple. Other committees, once the schedule comes out, you will hear from Jacob. Regardless, he committed to still being the away day committee chair, and I'm going to hand it over to Leela as our merch committee chair.
Yes, you have to go up.
Oh, I have to.
Standing
Yeah.
please.
Alright! She looks so cute doing it.
I know, right? Merch we did. What? What am I looking at?
You got your numbers right there.
Yeah, your numbers are right over there.
Yes. I just wanted to say before I got into this that we did a different kind of scarf this year, which was not our colors, which was red and white to support like the whole Canadian stuff as opposed to just the Lakeside Boys. So we have 19 of those left over. And in a discussion pre-meeting, World Cup is coming, so watch party might be a good time to actually sell those and not have to lose out money, because Tammy and I were like, we should just sell them for Christmas and just blow them out and make some money back. But Mike was like, no, let's hold on to them for a bit longer. So yeah.
I agree. At the right event,
We
those
we
will
can
sell.
sell them for Christmas, but at full price because
Abs-
World Cup.
Well, we were
Yes.
we were talking about dropping them to
Yeah,
40
just
Yeah.
sell them.
Yeah.
for the member price for everybody.
So they just were really expensive, and the problem is like we don't have the cash to order 1,000, and that's where people are getting the break, right? So when we order 50, we're just
And,
we are paying a premium.
and as an additional note, historically we would get our scarves through Global Scarves using our Independent Supporters Council discount, but they are USA based. And when at the start of last year we were like, like we're reading the room here. That's like, let's see if we can find a Canadian person.
So Coastal Rain was Canadian, just
They just didn't really understand.
didn't understand the assignment.
The half and half, not half and half, but a split scarf with the logo split in half. They didn't understand that. They didn't understand that we wanted the fringe on the scarf.
Yeah.
They were like, no, we trimmed that. We're like, no, they didn't get it.
Yeah.
Um,
Multiple things.
and as well as it just being more expensive. So we can find other manufacturers.
Absolutely. We'll have to start that earlier,
And
maybe.
Petition to do it as a summer scarf again. 'cause
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, we had to try, we had to do it, whatever. But yeah, so currently we have really cute octopuses that I guess Karen had made and donated. Yeah, octopi, sorry. So we've got 3 large, 7 medium, 1 small, and 1 extra small. We've got 9 bangers. I guess Scott had donated those last year. We were like, we could,
Inflatable thunder sticks.
yeah, we could even like
We have so many more of those too.
I don't know what
We
you're.
got horns. I should give the horns
Yeah.
into the pot.
The thing
because
is too is like we
Wanna sell them?
we don't yeah we should be asking for like some kind of minimum donation for those, because like you
Yeah.
guys spend money on
Yeah,
those.
they're not freebies, but yeah,
Exactly.
$5 each, I think
We-
kids
When
asked a lot this
somebody
year for
something,
the new Azaleas.
if there is no
We didn't have
value,
them.
but if they pay for it,
Yeah.
then they have commitment.
Absolutely, and I always say like even for the littles, like they got $1 in their pocket or $2 in their pocket, like we can be flexible with those littles. I think like just to encourage them to participate. But when it's adults, I'm like, no, it's $10 for you. So we have 3 2024 scarves left.
Only 3.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and I think that is. Oh, and we have a partridge in a pear tree, according to Tammy. Listed on our list here.
There's some
Um,
kazoos, I think, as well.
I didn't see them in there.
The little purple
Oh, we
standard
didn't-
chick
Oh,
kazoo.
there actually might be
Did
some
you
2025
you
scarves
have
in
your
there.
kazoo? I
We
might
didn't
have
get
to
into
chase
there.
Okay.
The one with the bell horn.
I think I'm not.
Okay, it has a hear the noise sticker on it, and
That'd be-
so
that'd be
it's
Jason's
probably
thing.
his. Okay.
So I think that's all for merch, but yeah, we'll start thinking of some designs, or I don't always have to be the one to design it. If anybody has
Yeah.
any
It's whatever
ideas.
Amazing.
Well, I mean, if anybody has ideas, I can put those together too, right? I'm not like the only person
Iron
who
Front.
has ideas.
Like
What?
Brian Werner.
Iron Front.
Iron Front, hey?
The only one
I know you had been suggesting Iron Front t-shirts. So the thing that comes up with clothing
Yeah.
is that in order to avoid us just sitting on a shit ton of stock,
Yeah.
the best way is always going to be, hey, this is a design that we have, and we
Yeah.
will like who wants what sizes, and then put in big orders.
But also, those orders have not been big lately,
No.
so hence our toques that were like, you know, $35, and then mine's gone missing. I don't know where mine went, which I wanted to cry about. And like, it's if we're gonna just do small orders and not have spares that we can sell later, we are gonna all be paying premiums for them, right? So
But it does make a difference if they're going to be embroidered or silk screen,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
And so I believe that the vendor has the work to have the octopus ready to go. So we
yeah.
already paid for that design,
Oh,
so
that's
they
cool.
have that
Yeah.
on file.
Bring
So
your own T-shirt. Slap your
Well,
embroidered on t-shirt, like it doesn't.
I sort of asked her about that, and she was sort of like, well, like yes and no, but it's still not cheap, right? So we might as well just like order the new T-shirts and have them do them, and then it's So yeah, that initial fee of setup fee and whatever is waived because they already have that design. I mean, it has something to do with their needles, their sewing machine and needles, and how that has to do it.
We're
So
not looking to do cheap. We're looking to do quality.
yeah, but heads up, like things have not gone down.
Nothing has gotten cheaper.
No. Because like when I'm like looking at doing hoodies and stuff, we're looking at close to $100 sometimes with the hoodie and the design and whatever, right? And that's because we're not
PFC charges for their purple one.
exactly. But you think that we're a small group, we should be able to find it cheaper. But unless we're buying in mass amounts, it's not cheap. It's not like it used to be. Like you used to be able to get embroidered for.
Has the club ever considered like doing a collab with the club?
Only the
guess.
Welcome to Pacific.
The only thing that they did that was the Welcome to Pacific Octopus, and that one where we ended up getting $5 per shirt.
You're gonna get nominated.
Nominate me for something good. I'll write songs.
Okay.
I'm thinking like if they did a scarf with on our behalf and kick back $5 that they could sell it as a club like through.
What's really funny though is that
They stole our fucking design.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that year
Leela did this design with the reflection on the lake, and then they made another one that's like
it was like almost
this design is
identical.
better. And then the entire jersey this year had
Yes,
like
it
mimicked
copied
the
my
scarf-
design. Yeah.
Your design from the scarf from the year before, and then weird like,
Yeah.
huh?
Could you just hire me? Like I can make all these designs for the
So,
team.
Now that everything is with Hummel, it's kind of a back to square one, but they don't know what they're going to get and how that's going to work out. But it could very well be that like open to it because it doesn't have to immediately have a conversation with Italy, right? So we'll see about that. But good idea.
Yeah, but you may get volume.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's true. So it might be good to check in with them.
And
Cool.
there's also a draw party on Friday.
Yes, at the Garden Banker,
So we
right.
want to take some of those red scarves.
What is it, sorry?
World Cup draw
The
party.
World Cup
Draw party. Got it. Okay.
Is
Okay.
somebody going? For
Yeah,
sure?
I'm going
in the morning.
I'm not. I
Oh, you're not
back out.
going?
We should give you some scarves to sell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Accept
Okay.
motion to
Okay.
accept the merch committee.
Yeah.
Second,
I don't
third.
think we need an actual
Second.
motion for it, but
I'm just gonna quickly look here in the Discord to see if there was any committees I'm missing.
I think here.
Probably good, but let's just double check.
Tailgates.
Tailgate. Okay, so realistically, whenever it comes to tailgate, in the past, we had looked at tailgating as our like main means of revenue coming in. It's great when it happens, but it shouldn't be our primary source of bringing in funds necessarily, right? I feel like that's hard to hit by. But having said that, like, because we started looking at it being like, well, what do you get for membership? Maybe we'll throw some free tailgates, and maybe that worked, and maybe that didn't. But like, the tailgate scene is slowly starting to come together. People are starting, having the tent goes a long way because it's not just like looking like a crappy little tent over next to my van. It's like, oh, legit, what's going on over there? And we've attracted people that come over and buy food and get stickers, and they're not even going to games.
No,
They're just
like,
they're-
oh, you guys have food?
yeah, they just buy it and then go about their day, and we're like, oh,
$5?
yeah, oh,
Yeah, McDonald's for that.
So there's aspects to that. So I'm gonna put it out here to be like, if anyone feels like they want to be like, oh yeah, you know what, I can make a meal and do that. We usually do stuff by propane cookers and whatnot, but I have a generator. We can find ways to make it. I've definitely done like before coming out, like throw 10 cups of rice in the rice cooker and show up with a giant rice cooker full of rice and do rice bowls, and we we're set up with a lot of stuff, and there is lots of options here. It always boils down to when kickoff is, but historically speaking, I show up on the grounds 3 hours before kickoff and set up the tent and start setting up our area. If anyone feels inclined to want to run a tailgate, and by that I just mean like have a food idea. Like you don't have to worry about like if you're willing to cook or show up with food, let us sell it. We'll like Anthony will take the money. You don't have to worry about all of that. It's,
I'll just take all the money for myself. Don't worry about it.
but the reality of it is just about not us scrambling board meeting to board meeting to be like, okay, well, does anyone feel like they want to do something? Like if you're feeling inclined and the timing works out, do it.
Yeah, I feel like this year was really organic. Like it just kind of happened, and even when Tammy and I were busy, you know, Tim like was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do hot dogs." I was like, "Great!" Like, just all
Yeah.
passed
Oh,
out.
yeah. People come back from camping and they're like, I got a ton of food. Great, let's do this,
And,
right?
like it was nice that way. So like,
Yeah.
it wasn't always like on
Yeah.
one. person.
No, exactly. And there was less of a feeling of obligation,
Yeah.
right? Which is a good way to go. Like there
Smokies.
Yeah, you went to Pokies one time. That's right.
exactly. But I'm putting it out there to like it doesn't have to be integral to the board or a tailgate committee chair. You know, and even if it's like, oh well, I don't know how I'm going to get it out there. We can coordinate this beforehand. I can make sure that we get the stuff out there and people show up, and then we start cooking and we make it work. There's lots of ways to do it. There are many avenues to contribute to the Lakeside Buoys organization that beyond just being loud and drunk in the stands.
We're good at
We
that.
appreciate loud and drunk in the stands,
That's
but there's
not-
lots of other things that can happen. Even like moving down the list, the social media committee, right? So a large part of that is just about being like, yeah, if you're going to be online anyway, or you want to be making posts, or you fancy yourself a bit of a graphic designer, you want to do those things, or you're terminally online anyways, and so you've got the pulse of what's going on. You know, you've got teenagers and they know what's up. Man, 17-year-old have the juice. Get them involved. Fucking right. Don't count on it doesn't have to be the 50-year-olds being like, "Oh, let me get the pulse of what's happening." No. Exactly. Let's get the Lakeside kids involved.
Well, that is my grant idea.
I'm looking down the list and it does say Highlanders Committee, and that makes me feel a little sad. Because there's still nothing, and League One BC is dead in my mind until we get a fucking team again. We should have 2 League One BC teams on the fucking island, not just Nanaimo.
We should have 2 in Victoria.
Yeah. It is 3:20.
Check in,
So
see
we're-
when we're out of here, okay?
Yeah, we have it booked till 5, so I don't really want to hear about it.
I'm just excited that we might be out early.
Yeah, people got to go by 4, so no matter what. So moving right along, I'd like to acknowledge anyone who is parting from the board of directors in 2025, which I think is just primarily you, Scott.
Scott and Greg.
And Greg.
I'd like to nominate Scott.
Oh.
Surprise announcement.
Oh,
Okay.
that's back.
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
He's back.
Assuming I'm nominated.
Well, you're
So-
nominated.
So I'm gonna put it out there right now before I hand it over to our ombudsperson who did graciously decide to show up. If there are any additional nominations for the board, right? Whether they be the role of that, there are 3 named roles: president, vice president, and secretary treasurer. We have in the past divided secretary and treasurer, but ideally that is one role because it just makes it easier. And then there are members at large. We are not bound by a set number beyond 5, including those 3 named roles. I believe that that's where it says in the Constitution. Historically, I like there to be as many voices as possible because that diversity gives us a broader spectrum of what people want to say, and that's the whole point.
We can't make it too.
Right. Exactly. And so again, I'll throw it out there. Don't not be on the board because you're like, well, I don't know about board meetings, or I don't know if I can fucking dye my hair purple and gel it up every game day. Like it's not about that.
Challenge accepted.
Right? So I'm gonna broadly open up the floor right now and to online for anyone who wants to make any last second nominations. Scott throwing his name back in.
Yeah.
And I'd like to nominate Ted.
Oh,
Ted, you were accepting said nomination?
oh.
That.
And
Cool.
Tim, you're accepting your nomination, right?
It's been a couple years since he did that.
Mike,
Me?
Yes.
No, Tim.
Tim, you're asking Tim?
Yeah,
Oh, he hasn't formally accepted.
Tim's accepting.
He's accepting.
Tim is accepting his nomination. Okay,
His nomination.
so
I don't know your name, but did you want to be nominated too, or you
My
like?
name is Nate, and I'm here because I wanted to be involved. So
Yep.
Oh, Nate as well.
okay, so that's pretty much the room.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm like, okay. I'm just trying to think. I'm like, if there's no one rooting against and everyone wants to be in it,
Yeah.
then
Well, but
we still have to do this. But I like the formalities of it all. But there isn't. It doesn't seem like there's any need to necessarily have an election. Right? Like we don't necessarily have to do ballots and votes. We'll do the formalities,
Yes.
Only if somebody
Right?
runs for one of the three
Agreed.
positions.
right? So I'm just gonna hand it over to the ombudsperson to run through the formalities.
You're now resigned.
I'm telling you,
Enjoy your
You wanna be vice president?
one day off.
yeah.
Taking control of the meeting,
That's a challenge for
formal
us now.
meeting.
I have to go into the bank to
Do I have
get
a,
my privileges back.
motion to, open, the election?
Second.
Sure.
Thank you. Carried. First position is president. Do I have any nominations for president other than
Nominate Mike.
anybody else?
I accept said nomination.
Accept. In the light of no other nominations, I declare you duly elected.
It's like 20 seconds.
And,
You know, Jocelyn like smiled and then cried.
Yeah.
and do we have a nomination for vice president?
Kevin.
Nominate Kevin.
Yay,
You accept?
Kevin.
Yeah, I do.
Any other nominations for vice president?
That lady in the house.
In light of that, I declare you duly elected. And we have secretary treasurer. Any nominations?
Anthony. I nominate Anthony. Chips.
There we go. Do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
There we go.
Under whichever name is
Is
going.
there anyone else?
Whatever I call.
This is the heavy workload job.
Yeah, no, you have to.
I declare you duly elected. And then we have
Members at large.
members at large, and we have 5 members at large.
7.
6.
Want me to read them out for you?
Yes, please.
So we have Scott, Tammy, Ted, Nate, Leela, Jacob, and Tim.
There we go.
Nice.
And is there anyone in the room who's wants another at-large position? No, I don't think so.
Well, we have a maximum.
Anyone online?
Nope.
Anyone
Everybody
online?
except for-
Yeah.
Do you all
So
accept?
10. We're good.
Anyone not accept? Anyone else want to be on the board that isn't?
Well, then we have to
With
hold
that-
an actual election.
I duly- I duly,
Jermaine.
They have to be.
I confirm that they have been appointed to the board or elected to the board. Congratulations to you all. Thank you. Sorry I came late and
No,
was
they're-
unsure
they're-
of my.
don't worry.
I appreciate it. I had
Appreciate the ombudsman.
issues with stuff getting delivered to
And-
the house today.
And I would like to make a motion to, it's not an elected position, but
But-
like reassign the ombudsperson to Steve Hemphill.
Yeah, second.
Sign?
Yeah, you're stuck. You don't get much
I,
choice.
well, personally, I take great pleasure from one of the guys who's the most likely to like
Yeah, Being that.
talk shit is our ombudsperson on there. Like, I love it. Great. Well, moving forward, welcome everyone to the board. Thank you for being getting involved. I will look at the calendar and I believe everyone is on. Are you on Discord? You're on our server.
I'm not on the server yet.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Like, we'll make sure that Anthony gets this going on there. But that's
I'm
the
on Discord for other things.
the most important thing is that, like, not only is that where we have most of our internal conversations, but we do hold our board meetings by video on our Discord server. So what I will do is make sure that everyone who is on the board gets board role status, and then I will be reaching out and we'll try to determine when our next meeting is, and then we'll, because it's now a 10-person board, it's going to be a little bit like there'll be a little bit of leeway until we kind of figure out what days are going to work for everyone to have meetings.
Currently, it's every second Tuesday.
It's like first or second Tuesday of every month is what we've been doing. At 8 p.m. starts. Flexible. We can find the way to make it work. And the last several meetings have only ever been like half an hour long, right? They, which has been good. We've been streamlined that way. They only ever really go longer if there is an absolute shitstorm, right? Which has happened in the past where it's like, okay, well, we have to discuss this. But we're not opposed to having special meetings if that comes up, right? So everyone take note of that. If you're not, like, before you leave, please make sure that this is all worked out. Moving on, new business. So is there any new business that people would like to bring up, whether we want to discuss now or push towards our first meeting, but like at least having it so that I can put it on agendas moving forward?
I was like, has there been any discussion in the group to do like official kids club outreach for the Lakeside Boys? Like do a little kids club variant down in the kids club area?
Yes. So yeah, I can talk to that. So historically, right? Like Jermaine came in and was like, I've got daughters, Lakeside kids. And we're like, sure, whatever, run with this. And then we told them, okay, design a flag and we'll make you a flag and we'll do this. And so we have the chant at the 40th minute and 80th minute. We open that up to all kids. And then when we were on the bowling alley side, there were times where it also unofficially became the Lakeside Boys Babysitting Society, where people would come to the games, ditch their kids and leave, and we're like, what's going on? And there were like some true Lord of the Flies moments where we're like, what the fuck, right? Like, how do we deal with this? And so we started having the, like, do we start putting up the, like, your kids are going to be given beer, you know, like this is what's fucking happening. Like it's, but then last season, the club created the Stewie Kids Club, and it was only up until like I think a week or two before opening season. I give them lots of leeway, being like, "We'll step back and see what they do." It sounds like they're creating their own section and they're going to do things. Then we had a meeting. We're like, "So what's your plan?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Okay, well, like you've advertised a kids club. Like, are you doing clowns and balloons? Is Stewie just gonna live there the whole time? Is there gonna be inflatables? Like, what's the fucking idea?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we were just doing it so that there were cheaper season tickets." And I'm like, "Well, for cheaper kid season tickets is a great idea, like a sensational idea. But also from the outside, it sure looks like you were promising more than that. So think that shit through, because like let's see what happens here if like people show up and they're like, how are you not entertaining my kids?" And then we let it kind of go this season a little bit, other than the security stuff that we already talked about, to be able to be like, we'll let you guys take this, because you to me it seemed like you made promises that you're not gonna fulfill, so I'll let you deal with that until you figure out what you want to do. It's on my personal list to be able to approach them and be like, how do you think that went? And from there, decide what we want to do. They know we do the 40th minute and 80th minute chant. They know how we feel about kids along the boards. I roll up in with boxes of pool noodles and be like, here you go. The only difference is I'm probably not going to put the PVC pipe for people to hold for those pool noodles anymore, because that got a little gnarly. And I definitely had to have a few conversations with some kids last year being like, why is that kid crying? And walked out. Like, you know, yeah, that's a serious welt. Do you know which kid did it? Yeah, that kid right there. Can you please apologize? And I'm like, sorry. And you do that and you're like, I don't even have kids. This should not be my fucking problem. But I'm still going to take it on to be able to be like, well, I guess I'm the guy who threw a bunch of pool noodles out here,
Yeah.
but still like the fuck parents. And there has been not one fucking Pacific FC game where a kid doesn't have to wander over to security to be like, I've lost my parents.
Yeah.
Not one ever, which is astounding to me. Just like mind boggling that I'm like, it's not really that big of a place. You know, it's not like, I think we've all probably can pinpoint something in our lives, whether it was either as parents or when we were kids ourselves, where you're somewhere and you lost a parent and you're like, what the fuck now? But it usually ends up being like a 30-second to 5-minute, they're down some other aisle and you can't see them and you're hitting the panic button a little bit, right? There's a lot going on at stadiums. You never know when some weirdo comes along with a smoke bomb and then you can't see shit. So the reality of it is that I don't want us to be the Lakeside Boys babysitter club, but and I don't want it to necessarily be incumbent on us to be entertainment for children, but I am happy for us to do things like there are flags and there are
This is
these
what I was
things.
thinking. It's
And-
because like my son is 10. He wants to be behind the net. He doesn't want to go up to the supporter area because he wants to be right down there.
Yeah.
But like a few of the games, I went and got a flag, and then was in the kids area, waving the living daylights out of the flag, and it really livened up the area.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like to me, it should almost be like a second little
Well,
supporters area.
And frankly,
Yeah.
and frankly,
Exactly your new role.
this is what I want to do, and I was like, but I didn't want to overreach on any plans that they had.
Yeah.
Like I already last year, I was like, here's how I can help encourage those sort of things, but I'll let you guys deal with the mess you created first, and then when you inevitably fail, which to me they did, then we can come in and be like, all right, here's how we're going to do this. The only trade-off is going to be like, how do we manage that beyond,
Consistently.
right, consistently, but that still absolves us of liability. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, pick what we do.
Exactly. Right. So I want to have one of the things that I want to have the conversation is about that pregame stuff, what we can do, what we can get away with. And it is tricky when it's not every year, but every couple of years there's a different person in charge. Right. So I put a lot of time in with Paul Byrne to be like what we can get away with and what we can't. I haven't had enough time with Ross to be able to be like, do you give a shit about what we do? Do we have free reign? Can we do whatever we want? Like, I don't want to have a meeting 5 minutes later with you being like, how dare you hand out flags to kids? You know, because they hand out flags. I think there was a Can Champ game where someone showed up with a flag where we're like, where the fuck has that flag been? And the club gave it away to someone. And so I'm having a conversation with someone that they gave it to me. I was like, who gave it to you? They. I was like, they who? That's my fucking flag, dude. I've been looking for that flag for the last 2 years. And they're like, oh, the club. I'm like, my flag,
Yeah.
right? So,
Did you get it back?
no,
No.
because, no, but here's why. Because, like, immediately I was like, oh, I've Debbie Downered the shit out of this guy. Like, they instantly felt like shit. And I was like, dude, it's a fucking 15 flag.
Right.
Like, I can make another flag. I just wanted to be like, assert the like, no, that's our shit, right? They didn't have the right.
To give it
You feel bad, good enough for me, keep the flag, you're happy, wave it around. But also, because I think there was one year where it was like I bought 12 vuvuzelas and I saw a kid roll into our section on the lane side, grab 3, and then they tailed away. And I was like, what the fuck? This is my fucking horn. Right? And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna go chase that kid through the fucking stadium for my horn back. I can get another vuvuzela, but like, who does that? As well as the like, who else remembers the time where that guy was telling us it was like he was trying to steal the 10x10 flag,
Oh, we caught him.
and we caught the guy who they were stealing flags, and then
He's right to take it.
Yeah.
no, it's our fault for not providing an option for him to buy the
I
flag.
said, okay.
And I was like, the fuck,
So
right?
then I started drunk Leela started negotiating with him. I was like, okay, well, like let's start a bid, like $100 starting.
$500.
And he was like, no, and I'm like, well, that's a bare minimum what that should cost. And he was, yeah, we had a big discussion.
Oh, yeah, I had to walk away for a second because I was like, huh. I just
Yeah.
I didn't really expect that I had to have a like.
But it was just
Most
like,
people
dude.
understand you don't take things that are not yours. Like this isn't fucking kindergarten,
Well,
sir.
We've done a whole bunch of coke the whole game.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that it doesn't happen often enough, but I.
But to
It
go
was
it's-
with the dad, it was in a red
That-
suit,
to the
they were
kids'
definitely
Yep.
Come
having
back
a
to
good
the kids
time.
thing, Nate, are you talking about anything more than us bringing one plastic garbage bin full of flags and pool noodles and just leaving it down at the front? Are we talking about anything more than that?
Like the biggest thing is if I'm down there, then I will hand them out and try to collect them back. But like whatever we put down there, it's going to be a kid zone. So
which is okay.
good Lord,
The-
like getting it back is
So-
tentative.
So
That's fine,
which is not really a problem, right? Because the flags are really cheap, anyways. But the biggest concern with that has been, in the past, you get the like, well, then people in the general admission area start complaining that they can't watch the game. Like this is what we heard from security. They were grumpy. They didn't want the kids standing at the boards watching the game because the people in the stands can't watch the game. I was like, bullshit. And also, then move up a fucking row in the free seats you have, sir. Right? Like again, non-problems, easily solvable. But having said all that, I will constantly and wholeheartedly recommend a method of de-escalation implied in anything that we do when we're having conversations with people at PFC games. It's pretty easy when the alcohol flows to be like, hey, you know what? Go fuck yourself. And I think we've almost all had a moment or two where it can very easily be like, let's call one another assholes. It doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't. We can do that, but what I don't want to do with the kids section is being like, you know, volunteer clown for hire to live in the kids section, and I am now
Like,
dancing
I'm
for you.
thinking,
You know.
like kid-sized flags that
Yep.
kids can
Okay.
wave and make
We have 100 cloth purple flags that we made for a tifo years ago that we used to bring a bunch of those that I just didn't because I was like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to collect them all.
Yeah,
But
if
moving forward, great.
yeah,
Anything else in new business?
I have one thing to say.
Oh.
Yep.
Just like let's just table it for like the future,
You
but
gotta turn it around so you have to take whatever you get. You don't
Roll this, but I know.
okay. Sorry, I picked the wrong way. No, I was just gonna say we should maybe like what we were discussing about earlier, like start to look into the possibility of like grants and how we
Yeah, grants.
how we could do that. We had a really, for those who were not here earlier, we had a brief discussion about like, ooh, could we have a grant where we are mentoring like late side kids or any other people who want to be involved, and like could that involve we're teaching them how to do TIFO, therefore we have money to make TIFO. So that was just sort of a thought, but it's not necessarily like we have to do this, but we could start looking at ways
Yeah.
of finding funding to support what we do, but through also mentoring youth.
because we will
And-
likely have more TIFOs this year with us doing TIFOs for players under a specific game.
And for some of us, the first and only times we've ever painted anything has been soccer related tifos. So it is a thing that we do, right? Which again, all of that shit lives at my place. But the reality of it is that there's a lot more time in that. And so if anyone being that designer or thinking of things, when anything comes up where it might be contentious, if you're thinking of you're like, I want to get a message out, but it might go one way or it might not be well received, I would suggest you're better off to do that through song, because songs come across as if it was a spontaneous development, and you often have a little bit more leeway to walk it back if it goes the wrong way and you didn't see it. You can be like, oh, didn't realize, and you do that. Whereas it's a lot harder to be like, oh, but you spent hours fucking painting this. You designed it, you traced it out, you did this, and at
So
no
you're saying
point in time, any
40-foot Merriman out banner is
well,
spontaneous?
it seems orchestrated a bit, right? And so you get a little bit more like it's a lot harder to walk it back, right? You if you're drunkenly yelling something from the stands, it's a lot easier to forgive than holy shit, you guys spent a month making this, you know?
New
Two
business
stores
I
in town
have.
are out of purple paint because of this.
The new business I have is now that Tim's on the board, he has to bring a smoked brisket for the tailgate.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a smoker.
That's right.
Second that.
I'm also, now that he's on the board, going to be like, we've had conversations about a brass section. He plays trumpet and I play saxophone.
Yeah.
Have we tentatively scheduled or thought about any social nights for January, February, and March?
Our
Um,
social committee.
Yeah, so Tammy, in a lot of ways, we had talked about this a lot, and I bring it up in every meeting to be able to be like, we are a social group. We don't have to just be 6 months on, 6 months off. Let's have some off-season things going on. And so it always gets tricky at this end of the year because holiday parties and whatnot, things get convoluted. But I always am like, fuck, from like New Year's until season starts, we have 3-4 months to be doing things, moving up, and it is a World Cup year, so it's even more important that we start bringing in things and going and doing stuff. Whether that ends up being pool night, a few years ago we did a bowling night. Kunle Dada Luke came out for it. I beat him in 1 out of 3 games, so I felt pretty good about that. And Agent Dada Luke lost the Can Champ for Vancouver FC, so I'm really thankful for that. And who knows, he might be back with us this year.
Yeah.
You never know the way that things go in the CPL.
Could
But
transform into a Zant Pally club, like supporter.
I would love to be a St. Pauline.
Steve,
Yeah, I've got one request to the board, I guess. So based on what's going on at York, Toronto, I would highly recommend the board seek a meeting with the new owners
Whenever that.
as soon as it's possible and say, we like the brand and we have a lot of purple stuff.
Yeah.
So
Go fuck
don't go
yourself.
getting
and rebrand it.
ideas about
Yeah, like I don't mind changing the logo if you really must,
the logo,
but
What are they trying to? they're
Well,
trying to put
no.
purple?
no,
but-
but if
What's happening?
but
Who's that has to be? We have a new owner? What?
yeah,
No,
but
York-
if / when we get a new owner, we
Right.
set up a
Change the
meeting.
colours.
Not yet.
And
No.
not
To-
allow what
to
happened
talk
at
to
York.
them.
when it is announced.
Because York has got the new Mexican owners,
Yeah.
and now they've rebranded to an Italian name of Inter Toronto.
But the-
and change their color scheme.
Change
So
the color.
their color scheme has changed. This is the 3rd rebrand sort of thing that they've had. So it went from there being like lime green to a sort of forest green and navy blue to now just looking like dark blue and silver.
Yeah.
Like I haven't quite figured out their thing, and I'm like everything that's come out about it has just been yawn emoji for me. And I'm like, man, I could care less. Like fucking figure it out.
Actually had
Like-
a little protest outside the
Yeah, like
they weren't insulted.
yeah, you just well, this is exactly it, right? Because when it's come up, this has been the other thing we all last season. The one thing that we had been talking about is do we want to do a tifo of like sort of milk carton missing posters of the 3 primary 6-5 owners, and then being like, last seen Kuala Lumpur, last seen Zurich, last seen Old Trafford, and then once they actually came out with the like, okay, we're selling the club, I was like, I know it feels like this is a really good time to do that, but it's actually like I'm happy that they publicly admitted that they want to sell the club, because at least it stops being this sort of like, why does it feel all dirty like you want to do this, but you're not telling this? And so what I don't want to do is I don't want to put an air of toxicity out to us that might dissuade anyone from wanting to buy it, right? To me, it's more important that we get a new owner than we piss off the old ones. Like, again, with the like me standing in the crowd.
Plenty of time to talk shit on them after they're gone.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
this is the thing. Like me standing
The day after
in
they
the
got
stands,
to film,
singing "Fuck Josh Simpson" with Jake. I'm like, he's not going to hear this. He's not watching the game. And the again, that can like it happens and it's gone. But if we hold up tifos of that, then it's a whole different
It's a
thing.
commitment.
And then there's a level of like, well, go fuck yourself. Like, man, I've opened up my wallet. I've been hemorrhaging money for 7 years here
So
for you
we're
guys.
still on social.
Yeah, back to
Yeah.
the social thing.
events.
Yeah.
So I'd like to put down our next social event will be on January 24th. It will be a bowling event at the bowling alley.
Awesome.
And
Well, good.
will be sponsored by Scott and I.
Oh.
Beer not included.
Okay, hold on. I would like having done this before with us. Reserve lanes. Shoe rentals are independent to the people who are bowling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't cover shoe rentals.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And then if you just reserve the lanes, because it's
Okay, we got
ba-
the lanes.
it's based on time,
Build
right?
it and you
So
can-
you can't bowl for more than 6 people per any given game. But like even doing that makes the games drag on. So if it's almost better to be able to be like 4 person per lane, and then
Yeah.
you can maybe get 3 games in a given amount of time. Like that's the thing, right? And keep it organized. And if we it doesn't have to be the VIP room because I believe that costs more,
It does.
Yeah.
right? So I don't fucking care,
We do
right?
3-4 lanes.
Yeah.
Whatever we figure we need, we'll advertise it, see how much interest there is in it. But at least for this group,
Yeah.
I think that would be
Good, awesome. January 24th bowling
Yeah,
event.
I think it's far enough out. We should look into it.
Yep, we can make a graphic for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting really close here to the thing. So the last thing on our stuff, and I would recommend again if you haven't worked out the Discord here with Nate, please do that.
Yeah, I just got
Okay, awesome. And then I feel like we're about ready to
Yeah.
adjourn.
Yeah, Kevin's made a motion to
Like
adjourn.
20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean, it's his thing.
Yeah. Do we have a second for motion